And is that silver or gold? That's a silver buckle there. I don't know why I saw gold for a minute. It's like that dress all over again. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Player Display. I literally just reviewed the Axe Woves figure, and since I was already sitting here and I already had my setup, I figured, you know what, we might as well just spill into another review. So I have some figures here, which I've had for a little while now, but since we just looked at Axe Woves, whose body was stolen directly from these figures here, I figured I'd have to review them, and they are, of course, the Death Watch Mandalorian army builder figures. They're not really attributed to any sort of name or anything like that, but oh my god, I don't know why I love these figures so much. Obviously, it's just blue Boba Fett. That's pretty much, well, I guess Jango Fett is blue Boba Fett. I don't actually own a Jango Fett. I like these guys a lot. I don't know what it is. It's like the sleekness of the armor, the really nice helmet proportions, their weapons are really cool. I really adore them, especially since they're generic army builders. You can customize them, you could do some painting, you could have as many or as few as you want, and it will work in any display, especially when you want to couple them with characters that are also part of Death Watch. Like, of course, you have the armor, you have Paz Vizsla. I'm really hoping they do a Prey Vizsla, who is one of my favorite characters from Clone Wars. As soon as I saw these guys in Season 1 of Mando, I just knew that I needed to have one. So, of course, I got two. Let's have a look at just one of them for now. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm not going to have the box for every figure that I review, but I'll do it where I can. In this case, no box. I'm sorry. Really nice execution of the helmet. Very good. Let me get rid of the jetpack because that's going to fall off again. I'm sure of it. But yeah, the proportions are absolutely spot on. I know this probably isn't what they were aiming for, but I love how you have the really solid black, you got the lighter blue, and you got the darker blue. It makes it feel almost like a 70s comic. Yeah, this is definitely a Boba Fett helmet. I believe this is the same one we saw with the Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. Going around, there's not a whole lot going on the back. One thing I forgot to mention is I did do some light panel lining with some gray Gundam marker on these guys. It's just a little tweak that I do to spruce them up a little bit. The rangefinder moves up and down, which is always good. And then underneath, the helmet is not removable. I don't know why they do this. This is such a good opportunity to, even if it's just a bland, generic head, at least have the helmet removable, so we can have helmeted Mandalorians, unhelmeted Mandalorians, and then you could customize the heads as well. Although, now that I think about it, you're talking about a Death Watch Mandalorian, and they're not supposed to remove their helmet, so I guess in this case I'd let it slide, but even for clones, especially, you should still have a removable helmet, regardless of whether or not the head underneath is particularly unique or whatever. It's just a missed opportunity, I think. Going down to the torso, again, very gorgeous colors. I really like the blue. Then you almost have a violet type of color. It's like a pale violet or something. And I really love how that accents and complements the blue armor that we've got going around him. On the back, got some more gray body glove. Again, it's kind of like with Axe Woves, you got that floating piece, or rather vice versa, since he came first. He also has these nice two stripes on the side. I don't know what those signify. Maybe that means like he's the grunt of the Death Watch militia or something like that. Of course, this is the Mandalorian that saved Kid Din Djarin in Season 1. And all of them, I think, were wearing the exact same thing. So again, that might be another reason why it's okay for the helmet to not be removable. You got the violet continuing on the arms, and then of course you have his two gauntlets, which are unique, as we saw on Axe Woves before. You've got the little pad there for the jetpack, and then you've got some darts and rockets and concussion missiles, or whatever crazy destructive crap he has stored in these two little arms of his. I think the hands are the same as, again, Axe Woves. It's all recycled, and more importantly, the joints are the same. So this one goes that way. Again, I don't know what's up and what's down, what's side to side, doesn't matter. And then this one goes the other way. So that's really good because he has two weapons, being the pistol and the rifle, which we'll get to. And then that allows him to hold the rifle with two hands if need be, or you can have him single wield a pistol. or double-wield pistols if you have two Mandos like I do. The belt is really cool. I like how it's kind of asymmetrical. This pouch seems to have a proclivity to float up. I think it's a combination of the way that the sculpt is done and also this hip kind of coming out a little bit, so it kind of pushes it upwards. I don't know if they intended that or not, but I like that. It gives it a little bit of asymmetry. I use that word a lot. It just really helps to break up a design and make it more unique than if you just, had one half done and you just mirrored it over to the other side. On the back of the belt, you get your usual Mandalorian back plate, I suppose. You got the holster here. Again, we've seen this already with our Axe Wolves review from before, but yeah, nothing else to really talk about there. It is what it is. You got your two differently molded calf plates, I suppose. I don't know what the anatomical terms are for every single piece of armor on this guy, but they look really good. I really like what's going on with the knees. Of course, we expect this type of armor for any Mandalorian figure, but I like these little hoop designs. They're very different, and I don't know what they mean. For me, that kind of adds to the mysticism of these Star Wars designs. You look at the colors, the icons, the symbols, the gear, and they kind of just tell a story by sitting there, and you wonder what's their story. And I like that a lot. So I like how there's this little ambiguous detail on both of the knees that makes this figure just a little bit more interesting, even down to the legs, where usually people start to not care. And as for the boots, same as Axe Wolves, and unfortunately it probably means it's going to have the same non-up articulation there, but again, we'll get to that right now because it's articulation time. But everything's pretty much the same. I'm just going to run through it. You got that much down, that much up, so you're going to get some good rocket jetpack flying. I'd highly recommend the McFarlane flight stands for the DC Multiverse. They're very good for 6-inch and 7-inch scale figures. 6-inch especially, since they would obviously be lighter. They're smaller, so they'd be better supported on those stands. Shoulders, they should go 360. They do. And then the shoulder pad pops up because it's kind of hooked to the back of the peg, like we talked about before. You got your usual 90 in the elbows. We talked about the wrists already. You get... Why do I feel like this is more down than the Axe Wolves? I don't know. We'll have a look at that later. Goes back, a fair deal. Yeah, there you go. Now you got a real Rocketeer thing going on. Swivel in the calves. Those are unhindered, except this one because, of course, that's pegged down. Knees, 90, comes down. And then you got the ankles, which you talked about before, but you go back just fine. You go forward, no, not at all. It's a matter of the sculpt work. It's that little tiny morsel right there that kind of just stops it dead in its tracks. But we got good rocker, so that's something. And as for the accessory, the third accessory, you kind of already looked at the other three, being the blaster pistol and the helmet and jetpack. We have, I'm bringing my other Mandalorian for this, is the rifle, which is my personal favorite. I like how it's an homage to Boba Fett's blaster, but it's not just straight up his blaster. It's something different, maybe a little more primitive. I feel like some weathering would help to really bring it out. It's kind of that dark gray that apparently we've been seeing a lot in these reviews. And I just love how this is so grounded in reality, but it's also definitely sci-fi. Because, of course, the original Star Wars blasters were influenced by real-world history weaponry. It's boring as heck, but for 3 seconds, we'll just look at the generic Mandalorian blaster we keep seeing. This time you get a slightly shinier gunmetal gray, and then you got a brown grip. So that's all there is to talk about there. Honestly, this figure to me is flawless. There's hardly anything to change about it, except the ankle articulation, I suppose, though I don't think I'd get them doing anything too crazy. But I guess the only thing that's a little bit dicey, though I can work with it, is getting the rifle into the hand, because as you could see, it's a little bit different. I tried. You can't just simply slide it in and hope the thumb makes its way up to the finger guard. It's just not going to work. So kind of what you need to do, which looks really good once you get it done, is you need to get the thumb. It might help to flex the hand open. Again, get the thumb into that back trigger piece, then slide the fingers over the grip, and then, yeah, that's pretty much how he holds it, right there, because my big old fat fingers are in the way. He just dropped it. Yeah, that's another concern of mine, is that these hands do get a little bit loose over time, even with the little blaster. Like, once you have him holding the big blaster, the little blaster is not going to fit too well. So, for example, oh, well, now it stays in there just fine. That is the Death Watch Mandalorian, or rather the generic one that has no name or anything like that. So we'll leave one to their lonesome for now as we do some size comparisons. So we'll go ahead and bring in Axe Wove, so I just looked at. Even though he has more colors and stuff like that, I still prefer the generic Mando that we have over there. Obviously, the fact that I didn't need to fix the helmet is a big one. I still need to warm that up. Paz Vizsla, big old tanker right there. We have the still anonymous Armor, who is, of course, shorter than both of them. So it's kind of nice. We got a little bit of a linear plane going on. I like that. Din Djarin over here with his Darksaber and all. And they scale just fine. They look really good. I feel like the model kit maybe is a hair too tall, but then again, that could be because of some of the modifications I made. I'm not too sure. Or Spider-Man again, for anyone who wants to pair them with Marvel Legends for whatever reason. Jungle Hunter Predator, which is way out of scale, as we talked about last time. But yeah, he's just way too small. They would not work together. Oh god, for the more big guys, we got King Shark. He's such a hassle to move around. Another really cool Dark Trooper right here, who just pushed over our friend a little bit. But yeah, he's very good in scale. That's what I'm trying to get at. But of course, you know how all these size comparisons must end. We have the child and then Muk Muk, because Muk Muk is awesome. That's pretty much all I have to say about the Death Watch Mandalorian. Not much more to say about him. He's a really solid figure. I love absolutely everything about him, except for the fact that, I forgot to mention this completely, with the jetpack, the thrusters are stuck, and I don't know why. I tried heating them up. It's just not happening. And that goes for both of them, by the way. So if I bring in this other jetpack from the other one, you can see, oh, this one moves, but this one is stiff. That's the only one of the 4 thrusters that we have here that actually moves around. So that kind of rots. But again, not a huge deal. I'm probably not going to put these guys in the air. I'd probably have Boba Fett or Bo-Katan flying around, or the Dark Troopers even. These guys, I'm okay with them being the background ground units. That is going to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this review. Slather whatever you like in the comments. Let's have a fun conversation. Toys are fun. We love toys. Thanks very much, and I will see you all later. But yeah, there's one of our crap. Why do we keep forgetting the name? The Clan Kreese members. And then you got to put it to the back, right under that little I don't know what it's called. It's a little switch of sorts. So we're gonna work with that. You got the big old gun terms or anything. Some gun nut's gonna yell at me in the comments. And then you're gonna maybe not see this too well on the camera, but kind of meander. Oh my god, I'm destroying everything today. Alright, let's stand you back up. You'll be fine. You'll be in the blooper reel. Don't worry. You'll still get your time to shine. And then us customizers have to burrow our way in there and then take out the head or whatever. Oh my god, I'm such a mess today. What is my issue? Give me a minute here. Well, nice seeing you in the blooper reel. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Doing alright? Get some good rest the other night? And I broke his neck. Anyways, there we go. See, all good. Brand new. Apparently, his armor is stronger than a stormtrooper's. That's pretty much it. I gotta shut up at some point.